I gotta tell just a little personal story on song number 9 on my fantasy playlist. It was one night back in late 1985. It was a cold night, I believe around November of 1985, about a month before Christmas. Late one night, I was listening to Q101, a top 40 radio station for Meridian, Mississippi. Got it pretty good. It was about an hour and a half to the southwest of Tuscaloosa. And they played this song that absolutely knocked me out. It was a fantastic rock and roll record. Loud, blasting guitars. I thought, well, this must be they didn't announce who did the record. I thought maybe it was a new record by NXS. Well, lo and behold, in my car radio the next day, I heard it on the local top 40 station, an AM radio station. When I got to the payphone, and we didn't have cell phones back then, when I got to the payphone, I had to get there as quick as I could. I called the DJ. I said, man, who the hell is doing this song? And he said, it's Paul McCartney. I'm like, what? Paul McCartney? Yeah. And the DJ who I talked to, he nailed it. He said it's almost like Paul McCartney had listened to his children's Simple Minds and Duran Duran records and said, hey, I want to do something like this. The song is Spies Like Us. This would be Paul McCartney's last top 10 hit as a solo artist on Billboard's Hot 100. I think it was his first top 10 hit in at least, well, maybe about a year or two. The reason why I'm so surprised that Paul McCartney had departed so much from his rock and roll roots in the 80s, doing songs like Stay, Stay, Stay with Michael Jackson, This Girl Is Mine with Michael Jackson, and those are good songs, but it's not rock and roll, Paul McCartney. Ebony and Ivory, a brilliant song. It has brilliant lyrics, brilliant in its simplicity, but not rock and roll. One More Lonely Night, that was sort of a ballad by Paul McCartney in '84. So Bad, very slow, weepy record by So Bad by Paul McCartney. That was in 1984. Take It Away. I mean, it's not Paul McCartney back in the Beatles or back in Wings, doing Paperback Writer to Band on the Run and Helen Wheels, Junior's Farm. What happened to that rock and roll Paul McCartney? It came back on this record, Spies Like Us, for a very brief, scintillating moment, like a huge supernova that just faded out fast. A huge rock and roll supernova. Paul McCartney had an inner rock and roll soul, definitely in there. Spies Like Us. It was from the movie. It was a comedy movie. I never watched it. You probably did. It starred Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. Spies Like Us went to number 7 in America. According to Wikipedia, I thought it went a little bit higher than that. I thought it might have gone to number 3, but I'll have to double check. Top 20 in England. That's all I got to say. My goodness, this was a roaring comeback hit for Paul McCartney, and the thing is, when you write off Paul McCartney, he has this uncanny knack of coming back with a surprise, and boy did he ever in the winter of 1985 and '86. And I love the way this song speeds up near the end. This is another element of Paul McCartney's genius. If he was just more consistent with it in the 80s and 90s like he was in the 60s and 70s. But you got to take what you can get. And it's Spies Like Us by Paul McCartney at number 9 on my fantasy playlist from the week of January the 19th, 1985.